We are live. Live. Let me check the sound real quick. Whew. It feels good to be back. It certainly does. From traveling and all that jazz. Ooh, my phone is dying a little bit. Be right back in a second. Don't mind my dress, guys. My dress. When I was packing, I was like throwing stuff all over the place, trying to figure out what white things I owned because the theme for the party I went to was like white and blue. I know I don't own a lot of blue, so I had to pick white. So let's get to this. Let me check the sound. That's what I was doing. I am all shuffled. I'm all shuffled if you guys need me. And let's go to it. Let's go. Ugh. It really does feel good to be back home. I just want to say that. Feels good to be back in my element, in my zone. Okay, sound is good. Sound is absolutely great. Fantastic. Love to see it. Let's get some more light. Like, you guys, don't you? This feels a little dark and gloomy. Let me add some light here. Woo! There we go. A lot brighter. Wow, it has been such a month, everyone. So welcome to the live session Pop-Up Monday. I know a lot of you have wanted me to do pop-ups on Monday and Thursday, so I'm going to try to do that. And I'm really excited to be here right now. As you all know, I am limited on time these days, but that's fine. And if there's anything else I wanted to say, yes, don't forget, as we come into the live session, I'm going to remind you that the reading for this week will be out at Thursday, as always, at noon this time. I've switched the times from 10 a.m. to noon. I just feel like that's a better time for everyone. Makes a lot of sense, right? People are eating lunch. And if that doesn't work, then, we can always experiment with a later time, 4 p.m., et cetera, when you're getting off work and stuff like that. But the weekly video will be here on Thursday at noon. So be on the lookout for that. I cannot believe tomorrow is July. Happy Monday and happy July, June has been such a transformative month, at least for me personally. Don't know how you astronauts are feeling. I'm very, very curious. Let me know how you're feeling as you come in. And I feel as though things are changing. Things are moving at a different pace, at a different speed. I've heard so many of your stories saying that there's transformations going on into your life. As you know, last week we had our weekly reading. And so tune in on the scheduled live to find out the next weekly reading and the vibe for the collective for you astronauts. I will be doing that on the live on more than likely Saturday, but be on the lookout. It might be Sunday. I'll let you know by tomorrow night when I will be going live next. But today we do have another poll. This poll, I decided to focus on holidays, and I want to know what your favorite holiday is. Our options are Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and I put birthday. So if your birthday is your favorite day in the year, answer that in the poll. Me personally, I'm gonna pick Christmas. I feel like I get more gifts and things on Christmas, and everyone's in the Christmas spirit, and there's a lot of different activities that are fun and festive. So for me, my vote would be Christmas if I were allowed to vote, but I do encourage you astronauts to vote on the poll. I would love to know out of these options which is your favorite, and if you have a different option in mind, just leave a comment below. But yes, welcome to the lives. If you have any questions, I am here. Remember, it is $10 for in-depth and $5 for yes or no questions. I have my little cat tarot here. I had it with me because I was unpacking and I was just like, you know what? I'm in the cat tarot spirit still. So I'm going to keep it up with these cards. I think maybe I'm still a little bit in vacation mode. So that is that going on as well. And I'm trying to remember, there was something I wanted to say. There's something I really wanted to say. Oh, you astronauts. So, I have been talking about taking this big test, professional test for a while, this huge exam. Well, I got the results and I passed it, astronauts. After so many delays, trials, tribulations, and hard work, I have finally passed and got that professional certification. So I just wanted to share that news with you all, and feel free to share any good news that you all have had. If you have been striving and working hard towards something and you finally got that opportunity, let me know. Let me know. I am very, very happy to hear your beautiful stories. And I am shuffling a little bit right now as we come in, but I should be done shuffling pretty soon. So feel free to come in and if you have any questions. All right, let's do this. Woo. All right. I am all shuffled. So if you have any questions, let me know. And I will be here to answer anything that you desire. Woo, it just feels so good to be back home, guys. I'm so tired. From traveling, and then as soon as I get back, I have to go to work. But you guys know I'm always tired. I'm always tired because I'm always running around doing stuff. So many different things to do. I feel like it's nonstop. And it's a good nonstop because these are positive things that I'm moving towards. At least that's how I feel. So I hope you guys are feeling the same vibes or in the same place. I know we talked about last week things being more transformative, being in this moment of reflection. We got the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Emperor. So it was all about transforming and moving in a direction where we are basically claiming our power. Maybe not even reclaiming it, but just kind of letting it be known more or again, or something along the lines of that. But essentially, we are all stepping into this place where we're feeling a little bit more powerful or taking control of our destinies, especially since we had that Wheel and the Emperor combination last week. So hopefully you guys are feeling that things are shifting and you are taking control of your life and your future. So that is where we are at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Shuffling is done. Oh, Halloween. That is a good choice. Halloween's the best one because you get an opportunity to basically play dress up as an adult and do whatever it is that you want to do. I feel like my favorite costume is a witch, no surprise, as a tarot reader. But yeah, I do like Halloween. This year, I always say this, I'm like, I got to go all out. I got to go all out for Halloween. But then it gets to be October and I'm getting like the late costumes and throwing things together. But this year I want to be on top of it. Okay. So I've got to start planning September for Halloween and the costumes before everything good gets sold out or delayed or something like that because of shipping. So that is my plan for Halloween. But you guys let me know. It is fun. It is fun to do those exaggerated looks. I don't know what I'm going to be though, you know? Should I be a character? Should I be like a celebrity? Should I be I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys normally like to choose for costumes for Halloween, or things that you would find to be interesting or cool. I kind of like when people do things that are like relevant to pop culture for the year. Like when Squid Games first came out and people were like dressed in the costumes of the, what do you call those people? The guards? I'm not really sure what they're called, but they were dressed in those costumes. I really like those, the little pink jumpsuits. So I do like the pop culture references. It feels like a summary of the year. Hopefully nobody's dressing as, Diddy. That would be awful. But people have warped senses of humor. So that I could actually see that, unfortunately. All right. Ooh, I'm really tired. Oh my goodness. We do have a transit coming up this week of Venus and Uranus. I think that should be pretty interesting. I know a lot of people have said that it could be potentially like surprise luck, surprise opportunities for Venusian things, which is like beauty, money, balance, anything to do with creativity is going to be very Venusian. Opportunities for socialization, like a surprise message from a friend or call or something along the lines of that, surprise social event that maybe you get an invite to. There's or dating opportunity, as Venus is connected to love. So that is going on this week. I think the exact conjunction may happen on the 3rd or the 4th. And so you may find that to be relevant to your situation. Obviously, it's going to depend on the house you're in. But I do want to pull some cards for the collective to see how that vibe is going to play out when it comes to this Venus and Uranus story. I believe this might be the last time they're conjunct in Taurus. I've got to check that out because I know Uranus moves into Gemini this year, but then it moves back into Taurus. So we'll see. Oh, a card has already fallen. So the vibes are very Knight of Wands. Okay, flirtatious, fun, energetic, ambitious. Not surprising, given the fiery nature of Venus. We have the 6 of Pentacles, all about balance. Oh, hey, Brian. All right. How is Amanda feeling towards me? All right. For in-depth questions, Brian, it would be 10 for how someone might be feeling towards you. But if you want to make it like a yes or no, you could probably ask something along the lines of, do they feel this way about me? Insert feeling. Okay. Let me get into this. How is Amanda currently feeling about me after I talked to her father last week? All right. And I hope you're doing okay. I know you have some strong feelings towards Amanda. All right. We have the King of Wands here. We have Justice. Don't know if you can see it. There we go. And we have the 10 of Swords. I'm going to clarify justice. We have the Hierophant. So how Amanda is currently feeling about you is she's feeling as though she may need to make a decision to honestly remain more platonic. I say that because I generally get the Hierophant to represent platonic relationships or relationships in which, you know, there's not a huge amount of romance unless this was surrounded by different cards like the Two of Cups of the Lovers, then that would be commitment. But because it's surrounded by like the King of Wands and the Ten of Swords, to me, it's feeling like, okay, I've got to reach a conclusion. I've got to make a choice. I've got to say that we might be better off as friends. It says, I'm getting through life and I'm going to see Shiloh's sister this week. Shiloh is my friend who passed away. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I hope that that visit goes well, you know, and that you both can bring comfort to each other. Because I know that that's a tough thing to deal with, Brian. But when it comes to Amanda, I think Amanda feels it's time to move things in a different direction. And she's definitely stressed about it because from these cards, there's obviously a lot of care, concern. There's a lot of being worried about what you think, what others think, and honestly not wanting to face any troubles or issues or having to have these conversations. That's kind of like her feelings. We have the Tower. But yeah, so it's like a moment of truth. So what she wants is a conversation where she can clear the air and let everything all out about what she's thinking and how she's feeling and how, like I said, it's time for a transformation of you two's relationship. And I think, like I said, I think she might want things to say, okay, I think we might be better off as friends. Or like not to get involved romantically. Which is very interesting. Let me pull one more card. We have the Four of Swords. It's another card about like kind of staying in peace, and the Eight of Cups. All about moving on, all about creating some sort of peace and not having things up in the air anymore. She wants a clear understanding between the both of you. And I think she's going to move towards having this conversation, Brian. Because right now she just feels like this is a heavy weight and this is a very important decision, especially since she feels like you're someone who has been very supportive and encouraging to her. At least that's what the cards are saying. Like she feels like you guys have a pretty deep connection and you have a good understanding of each other. And there's a lot of excitement between the both of you, but it just feels like, okay, this might need to end. We might need to just say, you know, we're better off just being good company to each other, but not going anywhere romantic. At least that's what the cards are reading as. But let me know what your impressions are. I feel like me and her need to talk. Looks like you both might be on the same wavelength. Yeah, I think it's time that you two both sat down and had a serious conversation, heart to heart, open up, say how you truly feel and what's on your mind. I think that will help this relationship to move in a better direction, because it seems like there's so much anxiety on both ends. You got to keep me posted, Brian, because I'm rooting for you. You know, I know you're going through a really tough time, and I really hope things turn around for you soon. Yeah, make sure to take care of yourself. Take some time to do some good things for yourself, so you don't have to have this heaviness on you all the time. But I do have this feeling like everything's going to work out for you, Brian. Maybe not in the ways that you expected, but I think that things are bound to turn around. You're moving into, it's very clear you're moving into a new chapter in your life. But come back when you can and give me an update and let me know how things go. Okay, good. I'm definitely wishing you the best and sending you luck as you go through this time period. Hold on. This card wants to come out. We got the Seven of Cups here. It's almost like saying that you have a lot of options in the future that are coming your way. And what I like about the Seven of Cups is it's a good period of transition. You know, it's letting me know that there's so many new paths that you can go on right now. And I guess it's up to you to decide the direction. But it's good because it shows that there's a lot of different options for you. You're not limited. If one door closes, another one will open. All right, I'm going to reshuffle the cards. Make sure. Okay. All right. And if anyone else is going through a hard time, I know it's corny or redundant to say, but there is a light on the other side. And it's always good to remain positive. I think sometimes we get a little bit jaded or feel like all we have is just the situations that don't work out, kind of like that Five of Cups energy, where we're looking at the things that we've lost. But it's always important to know that there are still so many things to gain in this life, so many experiences to have. And life is very short. And so the best thing we can do is seize the day and keep moving forward. At least that's what I think. That's my sort of way of thinking, philosophy. I'm sure everyone's different. All right. I did want to get back into the Uranus-Venus transit energy, where it looks like a lot of us are going to try to make some decisions to implement more balance in our lives. You're welcome, Brian. I really do hope that a lot of us are taking that time this week to trying to find more peace, trying to find more balance, trying to find more sanctuary, as well as looking out for each other. I hope that that becomes part of the story. I feel like more and more, a lot of people are disconnected. Ironically enough, even though all of us are connected a lot more through internet and things along the lines of that. But it can be hard to find a space where you can be open, emotionally vulnerable, and feel safe. And so I hope like this Uranus Venus energy is coming in to, bring some surprise compassion or love or, something along the lines of that. Will me, Jeff, and Chris and my dad all be together on Wednesday? We're working on a new rock band. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Let's see. I think so. We got the Three of Pentacles. Oh, Seven of Swords. Somebody might be missing. Most of you should show up, but we do have the Seven of Swords here. Someone might be making some excuses, saying, that they can't make it or something along the lines of that. But since the Seven of Swords is reversed, I think somebody's going to call them out on it and say, hey, you can definitely make it. There's not that much traffic, or we can reschedule a different day, something along the lines of that. But this person is going to get called out. But most of you will be there. We got the Six of Cups. If there's somebody known for being particularly flaky, then it's definitely going to be that individual. But I like to see the Six of Cups because it's a very supporting card and it doesn't represent flying solo. So there's at least, one or two of you showing up, maybe three of you showing up, since we got the Three of Pentacles, the first card. But if there's somebody who's normally late, somebody who's normally flaky, expect that from this person. Expect them to be that way. But for the most part, most of you will be gathered. And I think you'll make some progress. And it'll be good for you all to be together. Since we have this Six of Cups, it can mean reminiscing, taking walks down memory lane, or even, like you said, this is a new band. So you might even be talking about different styles of music that may not currently be popular, but they might previously been popular, like grunge or something like that. So you might be talking about different musical styles in that way. Jeremy, who's our vocalist, already said he can't make it. So that's the person who's not showing up. Yeah, expect them. Yeah, they probably won't make it. But the rest of you will be out there grooving, making music, enjoying creativity, giving each other tips, sharing ideas, being supportive of one another. It might be better for somebody else to take, the part of the vocalist. Don't know what type of rock you're singing or anything along the lines of that. Because I know there's lots of rock bands where the vocalists aren't that talented. But then there's some rock bands that obviously have really talented vocalists. But if anyone can fill in for that person, then I say go ahead and do it, especially since we got that Six of Cups there. And the Six of Cups is all about sharing. And so maybe someone can fill in and sort of share that role. Who knows? But I think it's going to be a good session. Like, you guys will still make it work. The good thing about this session too is the fact that there'll be so many different ideas floating about, especially since we have that Three of Pentacles and we have that Six of Cups. So everyone has some input that they want to throw out there in terms of, maybe sound or structure or names or something along the lines of that. Granted, I think the main focus is on the feel and the sound and things along the lines of that. The Seven of Swords is reversed. So there's some lyrics that may be part of the discussion, but I think the main focus is going to be on the vibe, the sound, and the structure. It's very free flowing is what I want to say too, especially since the Seven of Swords reversed. Upright is strategic, but reversed, not as strategic. Kind of just seeing where things go and where things land. Oh, Christmas. Just like me. I chose Christmas too. So right now we have a tie, Christmas and Halloween, for holidays that are loved or enjoyed the most. And don't forget to like or share as you come in. I would very, very much appreciate it. Obviously likes help the channel grow and it makes me happy. Oh, let me get some water here. My throat always gets so dry whenever I do readings. Maybe because I'm more of a quiet person. I don't talk that much. If you ever meet me in person, I'm really not that talkative. Oh, and don't forget the reading will be on Thursday as always. Got to put out that reminder. And I will post the time that I will be live by Tuesday night. I'm still debating whether it's Saturday or Sunday. So look out for that. Trying to think if there's any more announcements. I guess just happy July. It's not July yet. It's still June, but July is tomorrow. And depending on where you are in the world, maybe it's already July for you. But I do want to wish you all a happy July. Can you believe it? It is like midway through the year. I guess technically June could be midway. Yeah, we're midway through the year, essentially. And time is flying. The shifts are occurring. Changes are monumental. I've seen so many people talk about how, in particular, that they're switching homes or buying new homes, or they recently moved or something along the lines of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more stories of that coming up. And I think that is all I wanted to mention in regards to that. And you're welcome, Brian. That is, let me do one big shuffle here. I have a new deck coming that I think you guys are going to like. It's been taking forever. It's taken like a month to get here. But when it arrives, I think you all are going to enjoy it. And, sorry, guys. Something was stuck in my tooth. But I think you're all going to really enjoy it and find it to be interesting, and fun. We like to keep things fun here. And what else did I want to say? There was something that was on my brain. I guess look out for any positive changes coming this week. If you start to feel like there is a shift in opportunities or a little bit of a helping hand coming your way, that could be the vibes of Uranus and Venus. I want to talk a little bit about the astrology coming up this week, just to throw the vibes out there. And that is pretty much what I want to say. If you missed it, I do want to mention again that, that big test I was talking about, I did well on it, astronauts, and I passed the wonderful, amazing professional certification. And if I can do it, you can do it. I can meet my goals, you can meet your goals. Just keep striving, keep going. You're absolutely amazing. You have so much to offer. So keep that in mind as we keep moving forward and moving towards our goals and gaining more success and beauty and amazement in life. I want to make sure my camera. There we go. I just felt like it was a little dirty. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. Whew, you guys. I'm a little tired. All that traveling is a lot. I don't know what about traveling just makes everything so exhausting. Because it's like technically you're not doing anything, but it feels energetically trying and tiring. But as we wait, I do want to pull a card. Maybe like a collective July, because why not? We do have the July tarot readings up. So if you want your pick a card, you can check that out. But this would be more like a summary, a collective summary of things happening. So if anyone wants to watch back the live and get the collective July reading, then they can get it. I'll throw it in there. All right, let's do it. Collective July. Whoa, strong vibes. The Chariot. You can see if it'll focus. We've got the Chariot for the collective and the King of Cups in there. And then lastly, the Nine of Pentacles. So you guys, it looks like our collective July is actually very, very positive. We've got this Chariot here showing that possibly a lot of us are traveling, but either way, it does show a change and transformation, going forward with momentum and direction. I remember the time that I got the Chariot to represent a year, and it was a year driven by, accomplishments. Like I set out to do the thing that I was trying to do. And, at the time, while I was doing it, it was a little tough. The Chariot is a tough card, but it is positive in saying that what you set your mind to, you will accomplish. And so it looks like July, a lot of us were setting our mind to things and we're accomplishing them. And the King of Cups is showing that we are feeling pretty good. We're emotionally regulated. It's about checking in with ourselves and say, why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way? Why am I reacting this way? Can I take a moment to pause? Let me think about what this person may be going through. How can I help them? Show compassion towards yourself, others. Get rid of that shame, get rid of that judgment, and be in a more healthy and emotionally evolved place for this month. So I really love to see that. And then the Nine of Pentacles, obviously, that could be generally a boost of income. Hey, Veronica, how are you? I'm just over here doing a collective July reading. And honestly, it looks very, very positive, especially with that Nine of Pentacles. Some of us may have a financial glow up. So I hope to hear that. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I was just saying earlier how that exam I was studying for, I passed, and I feel very, very happy, just very tired. So how have you been? That is lovely to hear. I'm glad you've been good and things have been going well. It's always good to hear good news. I was going to send a question. Go ahead. And I'm just shuffling the cards here, guys. If you can't see my hands. Oh, did you send it through PayPal? Let me log in so I can view it. All right. Oh, sent it through CashApp. Oh, just got it. Does CashApp say the question? Okay, no. I thought CashApp said the question. All right. Can I ask what do men in general think of me or project onto me? Yeah, let's get into this. Okay, this card wants to come out. We have the Page of Swords. There we go. Focusing. We have the Emperor. Don't know why that one's not focusing. There we go. And we have the Hermit. So, what men think of you in general? Well, the Page of Swords is pretty positive. Shows that you're generally a friendly person, very witty, someone who knows a lot, can make good casual conversation. Maybe sometimes a little awkward, but for the most part, they find you pretty charming and endearing, especially since we have the Page of Swords. That's somebody who is honestly quick to make friends. You know, the Page of Swords is pretty open. And so generally men will find you to be somebody who, when they approach you, they feel like they can easily make conversation with you. Okay. We also got this Emperor card here. And since we have the Page of Swords coming before the Emperor, it's almost like they may feel like you like to talk about your goals or your work or even things that you want to accomplish a lot. So a lot of men see you as somebody who can be, you know, like a boss chick, like somebody who is standing on their own. They got their own thing. They're very independent, very much like, I don't really need any help. I've got this covered. And it also shows that you have a lot of passion and you have a strong desire to think about the future, because the emperor is always somebody who is looking towards the future, looking towards bettering themselves, looking for to transform their life. And I will say with this Hermit card following the Emperor, I can get this combination to be very, very work focused. And so men almost see you as being very like professional. Okay. I don't know what that is, but they're like, this person is someone who is very put together, someone who's very serious, somebody who's focused on their business. They also see you as the type who, even though you're friendly and very approachable, they feel like you're somebody who doesn't like go out a lot. Like you're not a party girl. You're not someone who is out on the town. You're not super, I guess people say mixy, meaning like extremely sociable, having a bunch of friends, going to different outings. Let me post for the gram. Let me make sure that I have 1 million TikTok followers. They don't feel like you're somebody who is competing in a social media sphere or even a more, what do you call that? Social butterfly sphere. You know, they feel like you're somebody who's like, I'm doing my own thing. I am comfortable staying at home on the weekend. I like my me time. I'm somebody who is very focused. I don't have time for any games. I'm very direct, and they may find your speech to be very direct as well. But generally, they think you have a good head on your shoulders and you're very, very responsible. I can also read this as like Mars being in Virgo. And so generally, they're going to see you as somebody who will take a more strategic approach to dating. And so they feel like you're the type of person who's not really going to date for fun. They're like, if they're going to approach you, they know that they need to have their stuff together. They're like, this is not somebody who I can just hang out and kick it with. I need to be on top of things. So they feel like you would be that person who would be like, yeah, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. They said, oh my God, that's so true. And you guess my Mars is in Virgo. It's showing in the cards here, you know. So men know that you're the type to not mess around, to be completely honest. You will call them out on any BS, especially when we have this page and Emperor and Hermit card here. Hermit card definitely represents having a lot of wisdom and thought into things. And so they know that you're not the type to really like to make impulsive decisions. You're not like, hit me up, you can meet me tonight. It's like, no, where's your plan? Let's meet on Friday at this time, at this place. It's not a super relaxed card. Maybe you can have a free flowing conversation and fun, you know, light topics when you're on the date, but getting to that date, there needs to be some structure and there needs to be open communication. You know, you're not the type to like fleeting things. And that's kind of like fleeting communication in and out. They're like, no, I don't, you're like, they're perceiving you to be someone who wouldn't like that. So that's kind of like the vibe they're picking up on. They also expect that you would probably want a serious relationship and that you would be dating towards commitment. But generally, they do seem to find you very focused. We do have the Knight of Cups. And so something about your energy is very youthful, especially since we have the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups. So they're picking up on the fact that, or at least they think you look young. You know, that's their perception of you. And they may feel as though that you're somebody who may not commit right away. I'm not saying you don't want commitment for sure, but they feel as though you're not someone who's going to immediately rush into it. And I think it goes back to that Emperor Hermit energy where they feel as though you're taking your time to really see who is bringing the most value into your life. It's not just about the romantic feelings, even though they recognize and they feel like from their conversations or maybe even viewing you or observing you that there is a romantic side to you, but they feel as though you're not exactly going to get swept up in the romance and completely ignore reality, essentially. So, I mean, they really do pick up on that. I do like the Knight of Cups because they definitely see there is an very attractive quality to you, a lot of youthfulness. I generally get the Knight of Cups to represent more softer features, just in general. And also, there was something I was going to say. There may be a little bit of I don't know if I want to say intimidation, but they may feel as though, because we have the Emperor card here, they may feel as though they can't really fully relax because you know the Emperor card is like a very powerful energy. You know, it's like if you were to meet a king or something, you know, you wouldn't just kind of casually you know, say hey bro or something like that, or take this very relaxed demeanor around them. So they may feel as though they have to, like I said, get it together, you know, when they're around you. That's kind of like the vibe they're picking up on. But they do recognize that you do have a romantic side. You're just not one to play with, to be completely honest. We have Halloween winning. This is shocking. But Veronica, let me know if it resonates. Like if men are like, hesitating to ask you out, which I would imagine they might be. Yeah, I figured. I figured, like, like I said, it's not the fact that you aren't attractive or anything. It's more like they really feel like you would bite their head off. So I always have to do it. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Like, they pick up on this like intensity in your energy. And so it's coming across as like, let me not approach her unless I'm going to come correct, unless I'm going to come like I have something to offer or something along the lines of that, because you look like the type of person who's not going to accept less. Can you do not suitable for work questions? I don't know, because I don't know YouTube's rules and things along the lines of that. So I don't want to get banned. So to play it safe, we'll have to save the not suitable for work questions another day. Maybe I can do like later in the year, like some kind of Patreon where I can do not suitable for work questions. Because YouTube is so strict. I wish it was still like, old school YouTube. Well, maybe not all of it, because some stuff needed to go, but it's almost like things are like overly censored. And guys, don't forget to like and share. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to vote on the polls. Looks like Halloween's winning. I'm more of a Christmas girl. How about men? How men think of me physically or what's attractive about me? I can do that. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Just let me know when you send it and I'll get on that. That's not bad. All right. Thank you, Veronica. Let me get the shuffling finished so I can pick up on the energy on what men find physically attractive. Let's get into this. Okay. No! That must be a sign. The cards have a lot to say. All right, let's get into this. Now, how do men think of Veronica physically? We have the sun. I like to see the sun because the sun is very beautiful from what I've seen in my observations. Generally, when people have a lot of sun energy, means a lot of people gravitate towards them and find them to be very attractive, very warm. And it's more of a sexy look for women with the sun. And I think it shows that they just find you to be an attractive person. I mean, I've never seen the sun to rule anyone physically not beautiful, to be completely honest, especially generally facially. the sun does very well. Granted, it's more on like the smaller eye size for sun ruled individuals and very prominent bone structure for the face. Depends on the racial makeup, but generally that's the common theme. And another thing is the smile, which is very interesting with the sun card, because generally when I get the sun card to represent somebody's appearance, people love their smiles, but they may not smile a lot. So they like your smile, but they may not see you smile a lot. I'll say that. Let's get it to 4. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is going to represent a particular distinct feature. So I'm going to clarify that. We have the 7 of Cups, which lets me know it's going to be different things for different men. Okay, so not super specific, but men will generally like different various things when it comes to you. Since the sun card was the first thing that came up, I'm going to guess it's different features when it comes to your face in particular. If you have any sort of exaggerated features, meaning like if you have wider set eyes, if you have eyes that are very like upturned, elongated, if you have fuller lips here, like the sun card on this deck, different men are liking different things about you, especially since we got this 7 of Cups energy. It's really depending on the man. You know, this is like beauty in the eye of the beholder. But one thing that they all have in common is if you have a distinct feature on your face, a lot of them are really gravitating towards that. That is the main message here. But, you know, some guys will be like, oh, I love your lips and I love your legs. Or I love your lips and I love your hair. I love your nose and I love your hands or nails. Granted, I'll say the Wheel of Fortune is more of about a body shape. In particular, what I have seen is a more curvier body when we have this Wheel of Fortune going on here. It's not necessarily thin, because the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter, and Jupiter is a planet of obviously expansion. Not that you don't have people who have Jupiterian energy that are skinny, but for the most part, I've seen it be a little bit more curvier, fuller. So if you have like thicker thighs, that would be something that guys would like. But like I said, it's like something on your face and then something else, something on your face and something else. Like it's two different things. It's not just one, and it's going to depend on the man. But the face is the main feature that generally most of them will find to be very pleasing about you. Let me pull these cards to get more information. Okay, this card wants to come out. Oh, the Emperor again. The Emperor wants to stay here. Okay. Kind of just going back to what I was saying here. There's something to do with, particularly because we have the Sun and we have the Emperor, something particularly to do with the face, more than likely the eyes and your expression. And they feel as though you have maybe a more sultry look, like I said, a more sexy look, a look that is very intense. And at the same time, it's very focused. And they really like that about your appearance. Like you don't come across as somebody who is doe-eyed or anything like that. Because I have different cards to represent somebody who might look very neotenous or might look very much so bubbly or something along the lines of that. But this is more so intensity, sultry, sexiness. Okay. Something about your expression is very serious. It's very focused. It's very intense, very much like, I like your gaze. I like that, the intense locked eyes type of look going on there. So they really love the face card. They love the face card the most. They love your smile. And like I said, the fuller features on your body, whatever full feature that is. Sometimes I get Jupiter, Wheel of Fortune to represent having longer hair. Sometimes I get that for that, especially if it's next to the sun, but it's not always. What it generally means overall is that this person has a distinct feature that stands out that people really gravitate towards. I have Uttara Falguni on my ascendant. Does that mean something? Well, that makes sense why we got the sun for the first card, you know, right? Because that's a sun-ruled nakshatra. So now it's making a lot more sense why people are picking up more on the intensity of the look, the bone structure, and things along the lines of that. It represents like a sense of, from all the Uttara Falguni women that I've seen, depends. Like if they're younger, they tend to be very skinny. But with these cards here, they're not necessarily saying skinny. They're more so saying a fuller figure, wider hips. You know, generally, Uttara Falguni is going to give you more so of a pear-shaped body as you age with Uttara Falguni, from what I've seen. So they'll like your general shape, especially since we got the Emperor here, and the Emperor is connected to Mars, Aries, and that represents your physical body, mainly focusing on the shape and the face. But like I said, when I've seen Uttara Falguni, generally people really find them to be very beautiful, to be very seductive, to be someone who knows how to use their body in the right way. Like you don't come across awkward. It can give a very sort of like, you know how cats move very gracefully? That's like very Uttara Falguni energy. It creates someone who is going to be like very magnetic. Like I said, like when you walk down the street, heads turn. Now, will people go up to you? Maybe not. We got the Emperor card here, but heads are turning and the smile is there and it's bright and beautiful when it is there. But, you know, not all the time, but it's very bright and beautiful. People will really like your smile. And so it really is just a general feeling of, I guess sexiness is the main word. It's sexiness. That's the vibe. It's like, you know how to move, you know how to use your body, like you know how to catch people's attention, you know how to make people's heads turn. You know, they really feel like that is the vibe here. There's a lot of focus on the figure. So people feel like the men feel like you dress in a way that is suitable for your figure and it's attractive. Like they don't feel like you're wearing stuff that's unflattering or too baggy, unless you're having a casual day or something like that. For the most part, men feel like you're dressing in a way that shows off your figure and makes you look very appealing. But they're not going to approach because, like I said, you have more of an intimidating vibe. You said you have Uttara Falguni Venus too. Oh, so you have like the Venus like conjunct your ascendant, or at least maybe in your ascendant. That's good. That means a lot of people will probably find you to be very beautiful. You know, in my opinion, when I've seen people who have, you know, Venus on their ascendant, in their ascendant, the thing that I've noticed is they generally have very great bone structure when it comes to their face, very symmetrical, very nice to look at, generally very good skin. Generally, they're going to have features that are balanced. And so that is what's coming on here. But I do want to say that I don't know if there's a particular distinct feature on your face, but they're noticing it and it's like very attractive to them. Since you said you had the Uttara Falguni, I would say more so eyes, but we'll see. I also have Mrigashira moon and Swati sun. Yeah, Mrigashira moon is definitely a focus more so on the body. you know, the body and the youthfulness, things along the lines of that. And I did mention before, a lot of them perceive you to be a little bit younger, maybe because of that moon and Megashira and things going on the lines of that. Swati Sun's very interesting because actually Swati gives big eyes, but since we have the Sun card here first and the Emperor, I'm gonna assume that your eyes may not be extremely big, but I could be wrong. But the cards came up with those first. So that's what I'm going by. But Swati I like because Swati also brings about very expressive eyes, which is what I was talking about earlier. So I have big eyes, but they're slightly upturned. So maybe that's what it is when it comes to what the men are focusing on your face. Because there's something distinct about your face, and maybe that's what it is. But I will say, there was something I was going to say. Right. Swati brings somebody who's very expressive in terms of how you look, particularly with the eyes. Very subtle expressions sometimes too, but I like it too because when I see this combination of cards, it can represent that like you look good in different looks. Okay, like certain people, they can't really experiment too much, or it can kind of fall off track a little bit. But when we have you have that Swati placement, it gives flexibility. It gives the ability to try different things and still look good in all of them. Okay. And particularly probably with your hair the most, but it could be with style too. But the cards are focusing a lot on your face, a lot. Like that, heavily focused in that area. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really feel as though you're like the type who can seduce people with your eyes or something. That is what I'm feeling like I'm picking up. Does having a Scorpio in Bella asteroid do anything? You know what? I'm not familiar as much with asteroids. I'm sure it does, but I haven't delved too deeply into asteroids. I want to though. I have Lilith and Leo, so maybe that does have something to do with you. I would feel like that does. I feel like that's probably going to there was something I was going to say. Make not you more entertaining, but make you more charismatic. I feel like that's what that energy does. Because it's like you can seduce through entertaining others, making them laugh, being interesting, being a great storyteller. Like, not that Leo's not seductive from the physicality sense, but Leo's more known for their personalities, right? They're known for being people who make people smile, who bring a lot of joy to them, who bring a lot of happiness and excitement in their lives. And that becomes part of their attractiveness. Not to say they aren't physically beautiful, because a lot of Leos are, but what makes it even better is that they have the personality to match. So I feel like that's probably part of your story. Lizzie, can you tell me what my bosses think of me? Okay. You're welcome, Veronica. All right, let's see what Lizzie's bosses think. We have the Three of Pentacles. That's obviously a good sign. The Ace of Cups. There we go. And the Five of Cups. The Nine of Wands reversed. All right. For the most part, your bosses, not for the most part, your bosses think that you get along well with others. You're a team player. You're somebody who is considerate of other people's feelings, and that you do a great job of balancing practicality as well as consideration for other people and the work that you do. You know, it's not always about making decisions that are best for the company, but also what makes people feel good as a team, or what makes clients feel good, or customers feel good, or whoever it is that you are providing your work or service for. So they think that's really great that you have those qualities. We do have the Five of Cups. And so maybe your bosses feel as though that you are believing that something is missing within your work, because we have this Five of Cups and the Nine of Wands reversed. And when we get these combination of cards, it's almost like, hey, I feel like this role, this task, this job doesn't complete me, doesn't excite me. It's not something that I'm fighting hard to stay with in the long run. At least that is their perception of you. Now, whether it is that you want to stay there or not, that's obviously up to you. But what they're viewing you as is somebody who maybe viewing this role as a transitional state. It's not where your true happiness lies. It's not where your true passion lies. It's not something that you want to grind and dedicate your life to day in and day out. That's kind of like how they're viewing you in your role. We have the Seven of Swords. They may feel as though you're going to do what's best for you, which makes sense, right? Seven of Swords is like, hey, I think this person is more so looking out for their own agenda rather than, you know, trying to build and serve whatever company role, whatever, which is not a bad thing. You know, it just means that they feel as though at the end of the day, you're going to put yourself first and you're going to think about what is best for you, which I think is a good thing. But like I said, they really do feel as though you add value, you get the work done. You're someone who they can easily talk to. You're not someone who is going to put up too much of a fight. Like, they don't find you to be somebody who's very combative. In fact, they may even find you to be a bit agreeable. But I will say they may think that the agreeableness is because you might be not fully sharing exactly what's on your mind. I say that because we have the Seven of Swords. And obviously, this is somebody who is keeping their thoughts to themselves. And so that's part of your personality that they feel that, at least that's what they're picking up on when it comes to what they think of you. We also have the Five of Swords. That's very interesting here, that both of these cards, the Seven of Swords, this Five of Swords, have this sneaky energy to them. And so, like I said, they feel like they don't know what's on your mind. They feel as though you're not here to stay. You're, like I said, you're ready to transition. We have two fives in a reading representing, you know, moving, changing, development, growth. Fives are all about instability and not staying where you are. So, like I said, your bosses do not feel like you're here for the long run. And at the end of the day, like, if you find a better opportunity, you're likely to take it. That is generally what they feel like. And that you're not one to kind of go out of your way to fight for change and transformation in the company. Don't you know how some people, they'll put in a lot of effort and work to make changes and transformation to the company. They'll really fight for months and months and months on end. They feel like you might say something, but if you get any pushback or if somebody shuts down your idea, you're going to be like, okay, and then move on. And then like when you're off work or in your free time, you're going to be applying for new jobs. But ultimately, we also got the world card here, just to get a clearer look. I know it's focusing on me so much. We got the world card here, and that's telling me that they believe you will be ultimately successful. You do have a lot of leadership qualities. You are a hard worker. You are somebody who is dedicated. Three of Pentacles and the World card are both about completion. So you get your work done. You're not sloppy or anything along the lines of that. You're working towards improvement. You're doing better. You know, the World card is somebody who is highly successful, always looking for that next stage of growth and development. And I feel as though they understand that you have a lot of great qualities as an employee, that you have some bigger dreams and aspirations of beyond your current role, that you believe that, or at least they believe you believe, this job cannot help you with, or cannot provide you the opportunities to do that. That's kind of how they're viewing you. They don't necessarily think that you're, you know, a bad employee or anything, but they feel as like, hey, you're not here for the long run. You're ready to move on when you get the opportunity for something better and you have bigger and better dreams beyond this. But let me know if that resonates with you, Lizzie. That's definitely true. It's a transitional job, and I hold back my thoughts and feelings trying to keep everything professional. Yeah, that's understandable. You know, especially if you don't want to be there long term, it's like, why bother having to try to change people? You're not going to benefit from it, and it's not worth the effort. So I totally understand that perspective. I do hope that you find a place that will provide you with more opportunities for growth soon, so that you don't have to stay in a place that's not truly aligned with your spirit, you know. But I obviously understand sometimes you just need to get a check for now until you find that next thing. My bosses know I'm dealing with a coworker who is harassing me. They have apologized and HR is getting involved. I'm wondering if this Five of Swords energy, if this is the Five of Swords energy popping up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I will say with the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords, they might be looking out for themselves as well. So be on the lookout for that, because sometimes HR will just protect the company and throw you under the bus. So it could be that that situation is relating to that. Yeah, because I've just seen that card quite a few times when it comes to companies who basically treat their employees like garbage, to be completely honest. And so it could even be picking up on their intentions towards you, where they're going to do what's best for themselves and not, you know, help with this issue that's going on, because harassment's horrific. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. Yeah. I really do hope that you find a different job soon, because I know, like you said, it's not easy, and mentally I know it's taking a toll. Do your best to take care of yourself, Lizzie. And just know you don't deserve any of that horrific behavior. Yeah, I'm going to send you my luck too. I have my fingers crossed as well that you get out of there, because you don't need your mental health to suffer because of some horrible person. Make sure you're applying every day or whenever possible. I know competition's fierce, but I think you can get out of there. And you deserve a place where you're going to be respected. All right. I'm going to send all my luck, Lizzie. Okay. It looks like we might be at the end of the live, guys. Been on here for longer than I expected. Sorry, it's thirsty. And I want to thank you all for showing up and sharing your thoughts, your questions, your experiences, and everything with me, and voting on the polls. I really appreciate that. You're welcome, Veronica. I'm glad you liked it. Hopefully I can do ideally another pop-up this week, but we'll see. I don't know how intense my schoolwork is. I did start it, but I've only started half the module. But hopefully I can do another one on Friday or Thursday. But it was fun. I had fun too. Don't forget to check out the latest reading on Thursday, first reading of July. Any other announcements? Be sure to look at the post on the community tab for the time of the scheduled live for this weekend, which may be on either Sunday or Saturday. I'll decide by tomorrow night. And what else did I want to say? Yes, reminder, Uranus and Venus energy is this week. So it's a great time for maybe some spontaneous rebalancing, restructuring going on with your life, maybe even possibly new opportunities. Like if you have Uranus and Venus in an earth sign house, that could be a possibility for a new job or a new way to make money or income or something along the lines of that. So if you are looking for that opportunity, check to see where it's happening in your house, your astrology house, to see the vibes. And nothing else I wanted to say. Yeah, poll questions will be back by the end of July, so I can poll you guys on what readings you want to see next. And thank you all for stopping by. It has been an amazing live. I have so much fun when I go live with you guys, and I can't believe Halloween won, but I may have to re-ask this question around Halloween and Christmas, because what? But I'm not surprised. You know, this is a tarot channel, so I shouldn't be surprised by Halloween. But I'll see you guys next time. Au revoir.